Hello there, I'm Luciano Oliveira, I'm a Brazilian attorney, also licensed in California and Texas, and today I'm going to answer this question. How can I use protests to pressure a debtor into paying a debt in Brazil? So let's start by talking about protesto. What protesto is? Protesto is a legal device available in Brazil for creditors facing a challenge with a debtor who's not taking care of their debt. You can take the instrument of debt. It could be like an invoice, it could be a check, it could be a promissory note, and you can take evidence of the non-payment to a so-called Registry of Protest, present those documents, pay a small fee in order for this debt to become public. Once the debt becomes public, what's going to happen is that the debtor is going to have more difficulty in terms of buying from other suppliers, because suppliers in Brazil, whenever you're trying to get credit, whenever you're trying to buy relevant assets or relevant amounts of goods, the seller is going to check for a protesto, and if a protesto is found, guess what? The seller is not going to want to sell to that particular person or company. Interesting to note, we have different types of registry in Brazil, more precisely 7 different types, and one of those types is going to be the registry specializing on protestos. So again, once you file for protesto, there's going to be an impact on the debtor's credit. The idea here is that by giving notice to the public, to the world out there, the debtor is going to become exposed in a sense that other potential sellers know that he is not really trustworthy, and this is going to in turn push for the debtor to pay off the debt. Also interesting to note, a protesto may preclude the debtor from selling real estate and other relevant assets, because at the moment of closing, the buyer is going to get notice of the protesto and would probably refrain from buying from a debtor who may try to deceive creditors, and in turn this could kind of attack the ownership of the real estate down the road. The protesto may also give the company filing against the debtor a priority over collecting if they come before other companies filing for another protesto down the road. Note, however, that a protesto is not the same thing as a lien. There is also the possibility of someone seeking for a lien on the debtor's assets, and this could include a protesto or not, but a lien would be the outcome of a more complex legal procedure. So let's talk now about the legal procedure to get a protesto in place. Creditors from abroad, from the United States, Europe, and elsewhere can hire an attorney or a law firm to file a protesto on their behalf. The lawyer or attorney will review the paperwork from the commercial transaction, invoice, or another credit instrument, and based on the lack of performance by the debtor, will present this paperwork to the Registry of Protesto. Once the Registry of Protesto agrees that there is an unpaid debt, the Cartório de Protestos will then add the name of the debtor to its databases. These databases will become accessible by everyone, and this in turn will push the debtor to come and pay the unpaid debt with you. Now let's talk about some of the considerations for foreign creditors. And not every paperwork from abroad is going to be seen as qualified enough for a Cartório de Protestos in Brazil to agree and file the protesto against the debtor. Therefore, before you actually file for a protesto, the first step is going to be for a qualified, licensed Brazilian attorney to review the paperwork and assess if protesto is the best route for your debt collection. Another interesting use by you as a foreign creditor or a foreign company dealing with Brazilian companies is that you can also use the protesto just like every other company in Brazil uses it, not only to pressure debtors, but also to provide credit. Meaning that at the beginning of your journey with a Brazilian buyer, you should actually check for protestos, even though protestos are not common abroad. If you check in Brazil with the assistance of a Brazilian attorney or law firm, you're going to be in a better position to assess how much credit you can give to a certain prospective customer. I hope these tips were helpful. Follow us for more tips, and I see you in our next video.